We welcome you to Guatemala City in the National Stadium, Estadio Mateo Flores. It is Comunicaciones at home for the second leg in the Concacaf Champions League quarterfinals, welcoming New York City FC. Mike Watts on hand for the call. 73 degrees, 33% chance of rain, also about 33% capacity at this venue today. About 9,000 are permitted due to COVID protocols. And yet those fans have all bunched together and they're hoping that a massive comeback is in the offing. Take a look at the bottom left corner. 3-1 NYCFC in East Hartford, Connecticut last week. The winner of this fixture will face the winner of León and Seattle Sounders, the most lopsided of the quarterfinal opening legs. To remind you what happened last week at Rentschler Field in Connecticut, about 125 miles away from central New York City. NYCFC maybe struggled a little bit, even by Ronnie Dyla's admission in the early going, a fairly even game. And then NYCFC broke the door down. Tati Castellanos, 29th minute, his third goal of the tournament, tied for the lead. 1-0 NYCFC at halftime. For Comunicaciones, if they get a road goal, it would significantly change the arithmetic entering the second leg. And in the 60th minute, they got it. Ball whipped back across. Gamboa able to drive it home past Sean Johnson, who was outstretched trying to get the initial cross in. Gamboa the goal, 1-1 after an hour. And for a brief moment, as you can see Willie Coito's exuberance, Comunicaciones held the lead in the tie. It was, however, very short-lived. Maxi Morales, a goal to remember, going to the fans camped out behind the goal. There was a heavy Guatemalan presence in the venue, but he sought out his own sky blue covered clad fans. And then NYCFC would get a third. Santiago Rodriguez in the 71st minute. He will not be in the 18 tonight, but that goal may have been all the damage he needs to do to help assure NYCFC a place in their first ever Champions League semifinal. An outstanding display by New York City to win 3-1 over Comunicaciones in Connecticut. And that brings us to Guatemala. Guatemala City playing host to Champions League soccer as it has so many times. And for Comunicaciones, there are few teams in CONCACAF that could argue they actually have a better home field advantage than the Cremas do. 15 unbeaten at home, 1 loss in their last 37 at home, 2 losses in their last 46 at home, dating to March 2020. This is a team sitting third in the domestic table, coming off yet another win. And it's a group with supreme confidence that they could, in fact, turn this around. Ronnie Dyla is well aware that the work is far from finished for New York City. And for Comunicaciones, it's as simple as you win by 2 and you assure yourself at least a chance at penalties up to a 4-2 result, in which case away goals would take over. But 2-0 alone would be enough for Los Cremas to move on. Comunicaciones is a side that in their last 8 Champions League victories, they've all come by way of shutout, and 5 of them have come with multiple goals. It's not unheard of to think that Willie Coito could possibly turn this around. For NYCFC, they may well be carrying the flag for a Major League Soccer contingent that seems destined to make Champions League history. They've never won Scotiabank Concacaf Champions League in its current iteration, and yet it feels right now, with the teams that remain from the United States and Canada, that they would be the favorites to win this competition, especially the way León and Pumas have played to this point. To say that Major League Soccer has found Champions League to be a stumbling block historically would be an understatement. But to look at their history in recent years, it's not all that far-fetched to think that finally they will find their luck in this competition. And for NYCFC, you could argue that by getting Santos de Guapolis in the opening round, following that up with Comunicaciones and a Guatemalan country that so often has struggled to compete, against teams from the United States, they had the most favorable draw coming off their MLS Cup glory a year ago. Sean Johnson leads on NYCFC, the goalkeeper in his 6th year playing for the Citizens, and for Comunicaciones, it is Jose Manuel Contreras sporting the captain's armband. Is it the home field advantage and those magical nights at the National Stadium in Guatemala City that'll carry Comunicaciones to what would be one of the more shocking upsets in recent Champions League times? Or will it be NYCFC, whose sheer dominance in this competition at the outset has left many mouths agape? 9,000 fans lucky enough to get tickets to this one. Let the fireworks begin. It's the quarterfinals, second leg. New York City FC away to Comunicaciones in Scotiabank Concacaf Champions League. Here we go in Guatemala City. NYCFC and Comunicaciones have entered the field of play. Those for NYCFC are their alternate kits. And they're hoping, like a bolt of lightning, they can get off to the perfect start in this game and put Comunicaciones into a very unenviable position. 3-1 on aggregate. The road goal for Comunicaciones is their greatest lifeline. Willie Cueto sending out this starting 11. They've made 2 changes. Saravia has come in to midfield. Alan Yanez has come in, the left back, who was born in Los Angeles, spent some time at Antigua, Guatemala. A little bit of time playing for NYCFC's chief rivals organization with New York Red Bulls too. Ricardo Montero of Costa Rica, the 36-year-old, has overseen 6 finals, including the first leg of the Champions League final in 2018, that being Toronto and Chivas. Also the vet of 3 Gold Cups and a dozen Champions League matches. VAR available in this game. Tatiana Guzman of Nicaragua is assisted by Selvin Brown of Honduras. For Ronnie Dyla and New York City, they have made 1 change as Nicolas Acevedo comes into the 11. Santiago Rodriguez is not in the 18 at all. They've got some notable attacking talent off the bench if need be in Eber and Andrade. They do have that supremely talented back line. Even without the grace of Anton Tinnerholm, they still have Chanot and Collins overseeing the defense. Allow yourself to be transported to Guatemala City. We are underway in this quarterfinal, the second leg. Comunicaciones need at least 2 goals to turn the tide, taking on NYCFC. An early touch for Anongano. NYCFC made clear in the lead up to this second leg that they felt he was fairly well marked out of the game, that they have to keep an eye on him. Sean Johnson rolls this out of the back. The former designated player with Chicago Fire before NYCFC as a club even existed. Jason, let that get away. Ronnie Dyla in the lead up to this match in the tunnel beneath the stadium, describing a need to defend well but attack as they normally do. First two games of the MLS season aside, Champions League has been a wonderful exhibition of goal scoring from NYCFC. And so in their 7th game of the calendar year, playing a competitive match in a third country beyond their own, they should feel right at home. Jason reverses, touched across by Chanot. Martins to the other side. Collins. That's Magno. Away from Castellanos, finds Morales. Magno. Whips into the wide area. Amundsen. Amundsen serves. Skies up and away. One has to think Kevin Moscoso, the goalkeeper for Comunicaciones, will have to have one of the better games of his life here tonight. Gamboa in this game, so Jose Corena all the more important there defensively for the Guatemalans. Morales finds Castellanos. Another corner for New York City. Morales once more. Cut out successfully by Lescano. It's been largely minimized on the wing for Comunicaciones in this Champions League thus far. You could argue between he and Junior Lacayo, they were the best players for Comunicaciones in their run to a Concacaf League title, which ultimately qualified them for this competition. Nongano trying to get under it. Contreras. Yanez. Aparicio. Still no Steven Robles. Was unavailable in the first leg due to a red card garnered in Colorado. Snowy night in the Rocky Mountains, and Comunicaciones, by the grace of VAR, moving on to penalties. Aparicio ran out of real estate. But it will belong to Comunicaciones here. There's the danger man, Anungano. Kevin Lopez will put this in play. He's joined by Laren now. He'll do the honors. Well over 50 caps for El Salvador. Laren. Nongano was the target. Contreras. Magno physically involves himself to take over for New York City. Physicality returned in kind. Saravia to trot away from Ricardo Montero, who wants a word. Morales. Martins. Jason Chanot. Team's the Brazilian center back who describes himself a warrior. Has bright moments stepping off the back line. Chanot. Acevedo. And now Comunicaciones spring forward. Morales stepping over. And now Contreras. Aparicio. Lopez. And is getting this wide. Be a throw deep. NYCFC defensive half. Tough slide in, well won. Seeking Castellanos. Maybe a second bite of the apple here. The foul one. Eyes got a little wider there from Maxi Morales. This is Jason. Neath Acevedo. Aparicio. Lopez. Head swiveling. Hasn't been all that sharp from Comunicaciones when they've gotten forward. Saravia. Contreras. Good from Lescano. Laren. Laren stepping through and whipping a ball that he may well see again. Acevedo went down, play continues, rolls out Laren. Laren early seeking Anungano. Lopez trying to deal with Amundsen. Service through. That's under Saravia. Kept alive by Carrena. After the early pressure from NYCFC, decent start for Comunicaciones. Contreras. Chanot ushers that out. Laren knew better. This is a corner for Comunicaciones. Laren, one of the two players on this Comunicaciones side, who featured in the Gold Cup last year. Here, Lopez will put this in play. Lopez. Ball slipped back. Anungano trying to hold it up. Jason drives it out toward midfield. Yanez. Contreras, now Laren. Laren, dangerous ball. Driven well over the bar. Samayoa arriving on the scene. He's got a big smile on his face, and this crowd applauds. Samayoa from Guatemala City, but played briefly for the Revs as a fourth-round MLS Super Draft pick following 4 years at Florida Gulf Coast. Chanot. Jason. NYCFC with their very memorable unveiling of their championship banner over the weekend. Followed that up with a 4-1 shellacking of Montreal. Just did escape the touchline. Willie Cueto looks on. Uruguayan manager in his third term as the manager of this group. He's won 2 titles, Comunicaciones. It's a group that hasn't won a domestic league in 10 years. Laren. Not much thought behind that. Holds off Jason well. Contreras. Morales pressing back to Moscoso. Offside flag goes up. Anungano playing that after coming back. There's Ronnie Dyla. Always dressed for the occasion. 3rd year as the manager. Foul won by Castellanos. Floated around seeking a touch in these first 13 minutes. Ultimately hammered from the side by Laren and followed by Corena. When you have a player like that, set pieces become that much more enticing for a group like New York City. Maxi Morales can dazzle. It's a good ball. Nearly found Chanot. Johnson. Tyler Magno, NYCFC's youngest goal scorer in all competitions, and therefore also now the Champions League. Acevedo rolling forward. Collins. Castellanos dealing from the middle of the field. Magno have allowed Jason to spring forward. That's a little CONCACAF physicality for Andres Jason. You know, it was intriguing listening to Bruce Arena's commentary in the lead up to New England's game tomorrow in Champions League. And you look at their roster, there's no shortage of players with international experience in CONCACAF, club and country. Did make reference to a club that hasn't really had much experience in CONCACAF together. Same can be said for NYCFC. They qualified in 2020. That's Anungano overstaying his welcome. like Chanot came off for a moment's time. NYCFC into the attack, rolling wide. Amundsen. All that time, Castellanos swings that back dangerously to Acevedo. And now Comunicaciones are on the run. And they've got numbers. Contreras drives. Picks out the opposite end, chipped up, Anungano. It's a bit over his head. Amundsen. It's still on here for Comunicaciones. Driving forward and slid wide. Clever bit of footwork to try and make something of that at the end. And the Guatemalan fans who've come together in support Comunicaciones in the capital city, something to cheer for. It would take 2-0 for Comunicaciones to advance. At 3-1, that's the only margin in which Comunicaciones can push this to penalties. Morales. Collins will take over again. Chanot had waited to return. After much consternation, finally back in. Finds Moscoso. Samayoa. Moscoso. Corena. Dyla calling for the offside flag. It's down for now. Be almost impossible to blame NYCFC if they were a little bit road weary at this point. Began their preseason in Mexico, trip to Costa Rica, on to Canada to play Vancouver. Home game played 120 miles away from their typical venue. Finally get to Yankee Stadium, immediately go to Guatemala. Yanez shaking this off. Puts his head down, and Amundsen running through. Well, grateful there wasn't more considerable contact. Lopez seems somewhat dissatisfied. Take the extra 3 inches. Lopez. Ball ricochets around. Came to the legs of Anungano. Contreras. Laren. Magno bowling through. Lescano moves this wide. Lopez returns. Now Lopez racing. Collins comfortably. Scoreless in this second leg, but NYCFC into the attacking half. Corena strips Castellanos. Corena's got much bigger problems. Castellanos continued through, and now Samayoa carries. It is 3-1 NYCFC on aggregate. It was 1-0 at halftime in the first leg. Comunicaciones scored the next goal in the 60th. New York City bagged a pair in the final half hour. push their advantage up, but it's Comunicaciones' lone road goal provides the most intrigue entering this second leg. Johnson, who's had very little to do thus far. Chanel. Acevedo for Morales. On to Magno. Castellanos. Morales for Castellanos. Moscoso on the run. He's left the net empty, and Castellanos, his cleat just a bit too high on Yanez at the tail end of that. Is there another Golden Boot trophy that'll be added to his mantle come the end of this tournament? He's leading the way for now, Tati Castellanos. Corena. Nongano into the challenge. He's won it. Nongano crossing to the backside. Lescano pulling up the turf behind him. Magno for New York City. Acevedo is taken over, and then Acevedo in recovery returned to Comunicaciones. And Contreras goes to work. Over 15 years around the Guatemalan national team, Contreras. Long-time standard bearer. Free kick to come for Comunicaciones. Collins pleading his case. Between the shoulder blades of Lopez. There's 33 in the middle of your screen. Juan Luis Nongano. Laren takes the majority of the set pieces. A brief time on the books at Tigres, but never played in the first team. Jason got tossed. Lescano gets a talking to. Ricardo Montero is satisfied. And Laren delivers. Morales puts this out. Short corner. Lopez returns. Aparicio. Castellanos one header further. Nongano would have been well offside. Came away from Morales. Comunicaciones is doing a little more here than holding their own. And now all their work's for naught. No goal to show for it. this escaped the line. It is with Lopez, however. In from Motagua, shortly after losing the final to Comunicaciones in CONCACAF League. If you can't beat them, join them. Yanez. Aparicio. Contreras. Pressure's instant. Magno. Played that off Lopez. Mentioned at the outset, it's been a long time since Comunicaciones tasted defeat on this home field. Halloween night against Antigua, Guatemala. Their only loss in their last 37 matches at home, all competitions. They lost to Antigua, Guatemala again in January of 2021. Totality going back to the outset of the COVID shutdown, they've lost just twice on their home field in 46 games. Anungano. Amundsen read that well, but has to put it out of play. You do get the feeling that the 9,000 fans who've packed together in this stadium, the maximum allowed in the venue tonight, are just a powder keg waiting to explode with a Comunicaciones goal. Laren. Head down, saved off the line and punched away by Johnson. A massive moment from the NYCFC goalkeeper, keeping that off the line. A yellow card has come to Contreras. It looked like Lescano at the back post. The chance to give Comunicaciones the first of the at least two that they need. It was Lescano coming to the near post, rather. Gets over Anungano. And does that entirely cross the line. It is a reviewable play. And could this be the turning point? And all the while, Contreras goes in. Dangerous tackle on Tyler Magno. So it will go to VAR. Well, at minimum, there was a discussion had. No goal, play on. The question, as always, of clear and obvious comes into play. I'm not sure that the angle we saw was quite conclusive. Now NYCFC driving forward dangerously enough. Tyler Magno goes down. Free kick, New York City. The earlier yellow card went to Jose Manuel Contreras. And after Corena nearly nearly gave Comunicaciones a goal and a major lifeline. Instead, NYCFC from a distance in which Tati Castellanos unlikely to shun an opportunity. Castellanos went for goal, and he scores! Utter brilliance from Tati Castellanos. And NYCFC grabbed the road goal. It just continues. No goal scorer more feared in MLS than Tati Castellanos. He swings it around the wall and inside the post. Moscoso shaded in a way that it would take perfection to beat him at that near post. And Castellanos found it.
Damas y caballeros, su atención, por favor. Gol para New York.
His fourth of the tournament. And NYCFC, after nearly conceding a goal line clearance from Sean Johnson, NYCFC has turned this whole thing on its head. Comunicaciones now need 3 goals to send this to penalties, with it being 4-1 now on aggregate. Ball bouncing down. Contreras can think about it. Instead, he laid it forward beyond Anangano. Morales, thought he was going to play through Castellanos. Instead, free kick, Comunicaciones. And they've played as quickly as they can. Snap header handled by Johnson. That was Lescano. As far as Corena, gave it right back to Morales. Magno enters into the attack now as well. He's got the overlapping run. He's found it. Ball back Magno, back heel Morales. Contreras steps in, grabbed by Lopez. A nice give and go allows Lopez freedom down the right flank. Anangano's not going to beat Martins like that. Corena. Lescano, that's turned over right to Larin, who floats it up. Johnson leaps in. And let's say this, for the possession Comunicaciones did have, didn't create all that many opportunities, but if they get the 1 goal, you wonder how much that changes the game. And instead, Johnson comes up with one of the trademark great moments he's become accustomed to for New York City. They score moments later. Free kick coming for Comunicaciones. And the entire dynamic of this second leg seemingly changed in a 120-second span. Maybe closer to like 75 seconds, if we're being perfectly frank. What a turnaround for New York City. They now lead 4-1 on aggregate. Contreras floating. Header back toward the end line. It's another set piece for New York City to defend. Laren. It's another corner. Can Comunicaciones get on the end of just one of these? Laren comes out to Lopez. He's got a cultured foot as well. Lopez didn't sneak that through. Instead, out to Contreras. Kept it away from Castellanos, but not from Collins. NYCFC wanted to play. Referee has brought play back, a foul. Well, here's that initial goal-scoring opportunity. Corena does it entirely clear the line. Johnson in the net, but his chest out. Unclear if that ever did entirely cross the line. These are the best views we've got. And then the wherewithal to come out and punch it a second time. And about 75 seconds later, New York City scores on a Tati Castellanos rocket around the wall and into the bottom corner on a free kick. Collins, composed as ever. Spun out by Acevedo. Jason. Big moment for Andres Jason. It's Tavon Gray who got the call early in this season. Talking a pair of 19-year-olds. Especially with Tannerholm unavailable. There's a lot of depth at that right back position for NYCFC. There's Moscoso. In theory, New York City had the depth. Be one of the odds-on favorites from the beginning in this competition. And the way it all played out from the draw, the way this bracket has started to come together, lends itself to a very competitive semifinal. Also one that certainly gives you a realistic chance to make a run to a Champions League final in just their second ever appearance. It's Lyon and that outstanding Seattle side. Throw for New York City. Of course, you never know. It's possible after all these years of waiting to see if an American or a Canadian team, an MLS team could break through. The distinct possibility exists that there could be a all MLS final in Champions League this year. Certainly the numbers are there in the final 8 to allow Americans and Canadians alike to dream. Of course, disappointment being the free square of Champions League bingo lead you to believe that perhaps there are other cosmic ideas. NYCFC, from the depths of being inches from down a goal, get a 32nd minute free kick golazo from Tati Castellanos. 4-1 up on aggregate. Contreras delays. Amundsen steps in on Lopez, tries to cut the corner. Free kick, Comunicaciones. Lopez did, in fact, catch the corner. A gargantuan number of set pieces, all things considered, for the Guatemalans in this first half, and nothing to show for it. Can they get one here? Laren all the way across and stuck over the head of Lopez at the back post. The service hasn't been all that poor. Samayoa was the target. Lopez was available, corner to come. Floated once more. This from distance, well off the mark. Laren thought he'd go for it. Magno puts this back for Morales. Second goal here for NYCFC would make this Mount Everest to climb by comparison for Comunicaciones. 3 goals, will that really be something? The idea that they get 5. Scooped up by Moscoso. For what it's worth, NYCFC has conceded exactly 3 goals in their last 6 games. So the idea that there's 3 goals coming for Comunicaciones, perhaps a bit of a dream. It's Morales catching a Nangano. And the latest free kick for Comunicaciones. All the way down to Yanez. Easy enough. Collins. Turned over, maybe there's something here. Lescano! Comunicaciones get one before halftime. And what a goal it is. Supreme stick-to-itiveness from Lescano, followed by a magnificent effort on goal. Surely stymied here. As the seas parted, he unleashes past the charging Sean Johnson. It would still be miraculous for Comunicaciones, but it's now not entirely out of the realm of possibility, is it? And Lescano, who had been pretty well tucked away and out of sight in Champions League in the round of 16, and even the first leg in Hartford, grabs a big one. Now toward Nangano. Soars upward. corner, Comunicaciones, and they've got well over a minute left in this first half. Quick service toward Corena. The clearance not nearly good enough. Aparicio. Now NYCFC attempt to run. Back to Contreras. He's chopped down. Free kick, Comunicaciones. Morales has been shown a yellow card. Saravia goes in, mucks up the work enough, and card goes in. It's Maxi Morales who picks up the yellow card shortly before halftime. And all the while now, a Comunicaciones set piece. Could Laren really? Laren. NYCFC get a road goal, but they do concede shortly before the half. And it still takes 2 goals for Comunicaciones to extend their journey in Champions League. All the while for NYCFC, Castellanos in the 32nd, Lescano in the 45th. And it is 4-2 on aggregate. New York City still in control, and they've got a cushion to work with. But Comunicaciones have shown that, especially on their home field, they won't go out of this tournament with their head down. Halftime in Guatemala City. On the night, NYCFC 1, Comunicaciones 1 on aggregate. New York City 4, Comunicaciones 2. Second leg from Guatemala City. First quarterfinal to reach its conclusion in Champions League this year. NYCFC 3-1 up on Comunicaciones, who did get a road goal in Hartford, Connecticut a week ago. Opening whistle brought with it early fireworks. NYCFC on the front foot in the opening 5 minutes, but Comunicaciones started to really hold their own. Couple decent looks. They find Sameyoa in the attacking half. This has been a game dominated by service and, well, lack of ultimate finishing touch from Comunicaciones. Set pieces galore, opportunities sprung from side to side. They just weren't able to find that opener. That gets by Lescano. And then this appears to be the moment. 31st minute, appeal. Corena thought he had gotten that over the line. Johnson kept it away. And some 75 seconds later, Tati Castellanos reminds you why he's got that 8-figure price tag. He's the apple of everybody's eye. Tati Castellanos, 4th goal in the tournament. And he thrusts himself back atop the Golden Boot leaderboard in CONCACAF Champions League. 4 goals in 4 appearances. And he can dance too. For Comunicaciones, could they get a goal before halftime? They continued to really string out for it. They need 3 goals to get this to penalties. That narrowly misses Lopez, and then Lescano finds the answer shortly before the break. Stripped up of Tyler Magno, driven by Martins, and driven home by Lescano. Beyond the outstretched Sean Johnson. 1-1 on the night, 4-2 on aggregate, and the dream for Comunicaciones still very much alive. They'll need 2 more goals and a second half clean sheet to get this to penalties. They'll need a 3-goal win to assure themselves passage into their first semifinal in the Champions League era. One of Central America's most prized clubs is giving NYCFC all they can handle. Here are the facts, the figures at halftime. About 9,000 in attendance for this game at the National Stadium in Guatemala City, a stadium that holds just shy of 30,000 on its best day. Comunicaciones, more shots, plenty of corners, 8. An additional bevy of set pieces on free kicks. But NYCFC, the magical free kick from Castellanos. Comunicaciones get one shortly before halftime. It leaves us at 1-1 on the night, 4-2 NYCFC on aggregate. In the first of 4 concluding legs in the quarterfinals of Scotiabank Concacaf Champions League this week. NYCFC are still, by the scoreline, firmly in control of this quarterfinal tie. Welcome back to Guatemala City, where the lights are just a little bit brighter now as the sun is set in Guatemala. And New York City and Comunicaciones 1-1 in the second leg, 4-2 the aggregate scoreline. Underway in the second half of play. NYCFC grabbed a goal through Tati Castellanos, the kind of goal you watch and tell your friends about and retweet on social media. And then, well, Lescano answers in kind some 15 minutes later. And suddenly Comunicaciones just 2 goals away from taking this to penalties. It'll take a mammoth effort in this second half, make no mistake. NYCFC, the reigning MLS Cup champion. Comunicaciones won the most recent CONCACAF League. NYCFC in their alternate Volt kit, bringing their high-minded fashion to Guatemala tonight. Magno goes to ground. Samayoa, now Aparicio. Set pieces heavily favored Comunicaciones, but they didn't create nearly enough from them. They appeared to have the opening goal, if not for Sean Johnson's extraordinary intervention. Castellanos wins a throw, or does he? With Comunicaciones. Castellanos scored less than 2 minutes later. And NYCFC got the road goal that assures that Comunicaciones at 3-1 could only take them to penalties. Second road goal here for NYCFC would put Comunicaciones in very dire straits. Yanez throws. Manungano in quite the battle with Collins. Another throw coming for the Guatemalans. Yanez will throw. Played for Alianza in the 2016 Champions League. He featured once in CONCACAF League. Nungano trying to break through. He allows this down. This will fall. Settled. Fired off the post. What a hit. Laren arrives, skies out. Precious few chances for Comunicaciones to get back into this. And if Yanez, after all the effort he did out wide, had allowed Laren the opportunity, if Laren does in fact score that, what a different conversation we're having. Morales. Actually, Morales dips in. Saravia. Out to Contreras. Driven forward. Drops in nicely. Martins, beneficiary of a heavy touch. You could easily mistake this for a packed venue by the noise. Laren throws. Lopez returns. Lopez. Pushed out by Acevedo. Thrown in, nearly laid back. Would have been brilliant to Aparicio. A corner for Comunicaciones. Soars away from Alfredo Morales. Brought down by Laren. Jason converging. Another corner. 10th of the match for Comunicaciones. They've come tantalizingly close. Laren Bouncing, header back. There's Johnson. Denies Lescano. A looping header. Magno. Swerves this ahead. Castellanos. Magno. Magno trying to curl. Caught Saravia. Chanot cleans up. NYCFC have had among the most stringent travel schedules from their preseason into the beginning of Champions League into the outset of the MLS season. Very little has come easy to them. Amundsen. Perhaps Moscoso would have had that. No excuses from Ronnie Deila. He did speak to the idea of perhaps a bit of rotation. That's not what we found on the team sheet today. Lescano scored in the 45th, Castellanos in the 32nd. 1-1 tonight. 4-2 on aggregate to NYCFC. Tough challenge, free kick, New York City. Acevedo pouring forward, and Corena took him out. That second road goal for New York City would be worth its weight in gold. It would require Comunicaciones to get 4 more goals instead of the 2 that could take this to penalties. Morales towards Chanot. Anungano got up to meet it. Castellanos delivers, header down and in. Magno puts a stake in Comunicaciones' heart. 2-1 tonight, a second road goal. And New York City may well go into cruise control right to the Champions League semifinal. The first ball from Anungano dealt with deftly. And Castellanos feathers the perfect ball over that Magno is more than happy to meet. And Castellanos continues to pad his stats in Champions League. A goal and an assist. Magno adds another. And NYCFC put themselves in position to play the semifinal of Champions League for the first time. Lopez serving. There's Johnson, and a little bit behind Anungano. Slid through and couldn't get the finishing touch. Comunicaciones push forward again. Lescano shoving off Jason. Foul from a frustrated Samayoa. Scored the game-winning penalty at Colorado. some magic, perhaps a little bit of luck, and the help of VAR, giving Comunicaciones a dream run in Champions League that may well be ending in front of your eyes. Amundsen. Offside flag went up. (5-2) on aggregate, 2 road goals for New York City. So they hold that tiebreaker. Comunicaciones would need a 5-2 victory on the night. 4 more. And Lopez showing a bit of his frustration. Surely the talk in the locker room for Comunicaciones is very different than the thoughts that are parading through these players' minds now. That road goal carried so much weight. Yanez lets this bounce. Magno. Return from Castellanos, who's efforted to create his own Techers mixtape from this Champions League campaign. Ball struck instantly downfield. Quick throw for Lopez to come. Longano's pass back, ripped away by Acevedo. Come the pigeons flocking in unison. Morales has slowed the pace. And in what's likely quite the show, New York City is in a very different place now. They're preparing subs. They're allowed 5 in this competition over the 3 windows. That's remained. And for an NYCFC team that was hoping for some squad rotation, that second road goal should open the door for them to tap into their depth a little bit more, knowing they'll face Philadelphia on the weekend. Semifinals won't kick off in this competition for a few weeks. Earliest possible date, April the 5th. Comes NYCFC, making a swath of changes. See Keaton Parks at the front of the line. Beginning of this season, not quite 90-minute available. Fredo Morales first on the board. Gloucester comes in defensively. Andrade will come on. Maxi Morales will come off. It's Eber waiting to come in as well. 4 changes, a quadruple sub for New York City. Castellanos, after that magnificent goal in the 32nd minute, will take his leave as well. And NYCFC, knowing Comunicaciones are 4 goals away from a comeback, make substantial changes now. Chanot arrives. Sent out of play. That's Zalalem and Latenovic still available for New York City off the bench. In terms of field players down the stretch of this game. Samayoa. We've played an hour, 2-1 New York City. 5-2 the aggregate scoreline in the quarterfinals of Concacaf Champions League. Likely be a bit of a disservice to speak back to the, oh, look at this. Wide. It just hung in the air forever. No one put much thought into taking this away. Now, would the offside flag had come up, VAR would have probably had a conversation about this. Nonetheless, Johnson drives this away. Oh, what a touch. Maybe still more. Scano can't go any further. Play will come back regardless. He scored the goal that made it feel possible for Comunicaciones right before the half. 5 goals, 3 assists in CONCACAF League. It was tremendous, but it's his number on the board now. Goal scorer will be replaced.
Sale con el número 7, Andrés Lescano. Ingresa con el número 26, Leiner García.
Leiner Garcia
Cambio número 2 para el equipo de
Comunicaciones.
Sale con el número 25,
Oscar Santis, who started the first leg in Hartford,
con el número 18,
come off the bench here final half hour or so. See if they can provide a difference here down the stretch. Eber into the equation. Well, that's excellent, but it is lost by Andrade. Aparicio came off along with Lescano a moment ago. And this ball sliced back beyond Moscoso. Some last-ditch defending. Collins and Magno efforting forward. There's the vertically inclined Keaton Parks. Corner, New York City. Jason. Acevedo whips this through. It's over the top of Thiago Andrade. Now the other side. And for NYCFC, they can begin to think about hosting a Champions League semifinal. Their 8th season, their 2nd Champions League appearance. They still have some work to do here. Who hosts the first or the second leg Comes down to the results garnered in the first 2 rounds of the tournament. And NYCFC therefore has something to play for here in getting a win and not a draw. Gloucester, Jason, Parks, seeking Magno. Parks, another opportunity. Scored 4 last year for NYCFC. It'll be Acevedo, who's taking the set pieces at the outset of the second half. Seeking out Chanot. Collins was alongside him at the back post. Ball through. Lopez watches this. Picked up by Sean Johnson. Garcia went for it, and Johnson brings this in. Gonna take a lot better than that to beat Sean Johnson. Picks his head up, and the recent substitute is having the best goal scoring year of his career by a wide margin. Having a go. Laren got the raw end of that deal. Kevin Lopez awaits. Lopez, diving header. A hand to that from Johnson, but Comunicaciones do cash in. The diving effort initially from Anongano denied, but Samayoa scores. His legend grew. Won it against Colorado in penalties. And he follows after Anongano was stymied by a tremendous Sean Johnson save, only to see it pushed through by Samayoa. And the former 4th round pick of the New England Revolution scores against this MLS side. Comunicaciones need 3 goals in the final 20+ minutes to go ahead. Referee does have the benefit of VAR. They checked it. The goal is good. On we go at 2-2. Magno. Comunicaciones is really buzzing now. Pass from Parks gets knocked out of play. And when you have a 3-goal cushion, which is what NYCFC had when they made their quadruple sub, the level of substitute they had on their bench, consider that fairly safe. And it likely still is. But Comunicaciones got a little bit of hope. Yellow card out. It's Lopez into the book. Likely as much for that frustration after the fact. Couple changes. That's Corella Espino. He scored the wonder goal off a set piece against Colorado here in this venue in the first leg of the round of 16. Nelson Garcia has come on as well. So that's 4 changes in the books now for Comunicaciones and 4 for NYCFC. Santis. Oh, look at Jason, a little bit shocked that this is a corner. Lopez came off for Garcia a moment ago. All whipped over. Parks, no problem. Contreras. Flag is down. Ball in front. Tapped in. Leonard Garcia. (3-2) as it stands. 2 goals from Providence. VAR available. Is that initial ball wide onside? Anongano, likely a hair off himself. And surely they'll give this an extended look. Parks tried to get a touch to it. There's that initial ball back. Did Andrade keep him on side in the first place? And then just how close is that extended leg of Parks to keeping Anongano on side? The referee chatting with Anongano. Himself likely has no idea whether or not he's the culprit. Ricardo Montero speaking with the VAR, Tatiana Guzman. It's a good goal. We go on at 3-2. Leonard Garcia breathing serious life into this venue. (5-4) on aggregate now. What looked like a chance for Comunicaciones to breaks down, but they've recovered. Corena. There's absolutely nothing to be gained from here if you're Comunicaciones by sitting back. 5-5 would benefit NYCFC with their 2 road goals. It'd need to be 6-5 on aggregate for Comunicaciones to go through as it stands. That means it needs to be 5-2 on the night. Parks trying to hold up play. Now Parks carries the other way. Free kick, Comunicaciones. This venue is rocking. 9,000 in a stadium that holds between 25 and 30,000. Those were the protocols in place. But the energy right now, voluminous like 100,000. Espino has scored from here. Instead, Contreras, header back, bounces calmly to Johnson. And surely NYCFC saw from that exact position on this exact field going that direction, Espino scoring his 89th minute wonder goal against Colorado. Even those in charge of putting balls on the cones right now are trying to get in on the effort. 3-2 tonight. Garcia and Samayoa breathing life into Comunicaciones' dream of a comeback. Flag goes up here. And a free kick played short down the line. Nelson Garcia to the end line, to the corner once more. Sean Johnson trying to get everybody on the same page. Laren. Contreras. Laren will throw. He'll do so as quickly as he can. Nongano chasing. Contreras left that short. Magno went down. Free kick. New York City. That late kick from Contreras. He's on a yellow card. He would do well to be really careful about any semblance of controversy. Your mind can't help but drift. In the first half, ball saved off the line, no goal, no clear and obvious evidence to overturn it. Sean Johnson takes it off the chest, pushes it out, punches it away. NYCFC scores just over a minute later. Alexander Laren drills the base of the post early in this second half. On a night where most would have agreed coming in, Comunicaciones needed everything to break their way. Two very obvious examples where it did not. And it's those two examples now, prime in mind. The difference between being ahead on aggregate and being behind a goal and needing two to overcome the two road goals of NYCFC. Whataboutism is a very dangerous game, and yet you can't help but think Comunicaciones have left a couple opportunities necessary for what would be considered the perfect night. So perilously close. Magno barrel rolls out of that challenge, and Nongano has shown a yellow card.
El personaje de Guamuch ha terminado presente.
Compared to León and Cruz Azul and Pumas, maybe this was, in theory, the easiest road for New York City. But Comunicaciones is in form, and one of the lifeblood clubs of Central America with so much pride. Reigning Concacaf League winners, with the vast majority of their roster intact from that point. Parks, Collins, Gloucester, turns down Magno, Collins again for Parks, slid back Eber. Throw New York City, they appear to have found their groove again. Here comes Comunicaciones. Watch out, Andrade. Comunicaciones. As has been the case, beating this club on this field proves near impossible for clubs domestic and international alike. NYCFC still in command, 5-4 on aggregate, and they have the away goal tiebreaker. Comunicaciones need 2 in about 10 minutes time. Something they've already managed to do tonight. Gloucester. Eber. Slips through. Striding on Andrade. Back Magno. He's gotten by Espino, but the ball taken back by Comunicaciones. How many chances do they honestly have from here? Collins with a clean challenge. The response from Comunicaciones, less so from Samayoa. Push in from Samayoa, who scored in the 69th minute. NYCFC does have 1 substitute left. This has all the makings of an astronomical amount of stoppage time. Should that happen, it's to the detriment of the cardiology of most every NYCFC fan. Walking off painfully. Willie Cueto looks on. Gloucester will step away. Keaton Parks. Andrade waits to come back in. Head to Gloucester. Magno knocked down. The latest free kick for New York City. And while this is Tati distance, Castellanos has long since gone to the bench. And the need for such heroics has likely waned as well. Time is on New York City's side. Could Acevedo go from here? Acevedo will go from here. Nongano. Jason. What a battle. Collins and Garcia is hoping for better. Late dramatics in the first and second leg. Comunicaciones against Colorado in the round of 16. They have anything left in the tank now. Acevedo rolled over Magno. Andrade came back into the game. He's lost it to Espino. Jason and then Parks. Contreras trying to pull some strings now. They found the width on the opposite side. The most recent goal scorer, Garcia. Clearance bounces up to Eber. Espino. Comunicaciones still need two more. Gloucester turned that right back. Garcia. Garcia floats. Headers away. Contreras. Oh! Contreras! One goal back! He turned Johnson to a man of stone. Nowhere to go. 4-2, 5-5 on aggregate. For a man of so much experience, it's hard to call any one goal the goal of his life. But he sneaks it inside the post. And this night, seemingly lost, could still be one of legend in Guatemala. Surely NYCFC shell-shocked. It'll be 90th minute or later if Comunicaciones is to pull out the absolute miracle of the Champions League era. Throw Comunicaciones. Contreras. There's room here. Floated ahead. Header snap back. Every second NYCFC can peel off this clock now. NYCFC lead 5-5 by away goals. Ball ahead. The header bouncing wide. And there could be plenty of stoppage time. For New York City, it seemed signed, sealed, delivered. 6 added minutes.
Minutos al segundo tiempo de juego.
Far from over. Espino plays it forward. Could this be the moment for Comunicaciones? Driving wide, Santis lifts across. Headers away. Bouncing. Watch out, Contreras. Deflected. Falls to Contreras again. And lifted out of play by Garcia. Very high likelihood it will remain just 2 home losses on this field in what will now be 47 matches for Comunicaciones. But nothing like this. Throw Comunicaciones. This has the potential to be one of the great nights in Guatemalan soccer history. Maybe regardless of the scoreline, but NYCFC trying to scrape through to the semifinal. Throw New York City, still 4 more minutes. NYCFC will make a change. Vuk Latenovic comes in. Magno will make his way off. Center back for attacking option. NYCFC is going to try and park the bus that they hope to eventually get on and get out of Guatemala. Referee waits, whistles, free kick. Samayoa, his latest infraction. Gloucester picked up Moscoso. 3 more minutes. Moscoso fires this wide. Distribution on point. Bouncing all the way through. Nongano following. As high up as ever. He's tied up. Brought down Yanez. He used to play for New York Red Bulls 2. Ball driven forward, header back across Samayoa. Jason. Brought down by Espino. Free kick, Comunicaciones. The sheer volume of set pieces Comunicaciones has had tonight. And it may well be one to get them to a semifinal. You're forgiven if you're shocked. The goal for Comunicaciones, they come all the way back. NYCFC, they're just 100 seconds away from escaping right into the semifinal. Laren. Ball brought down and cleared out of the 6-yard box. Nelson Garcia closest to it. 90 more seconds. Contreras. Header down is a poor one and cleared. It's only momentary. As far as Contreras. Espino. Header snapped high and over the bar. Sean Johnson asking the official how much more time. There's at least another minute. Maybe one more chance for Comunicaciones. For NYCFC, so close to the finish line now. Seattle 3-0 up on León on this side of the bracket. They play later in the week to determine the rest of the semifinal. This is still not done. Ball lifted forward. Anungano puts it down. Turning Samioa. That is blocked and cleared. Ball played back, brought down Moscoso, and surely this must be it for Comunicaciones. Ball headed through. A foul. And that is it. NYCFC escape into the semifinal of Champions League. And Comunicaciones win the second leg in thrilling fashion, but it's not enough. 5-5 on aggregate. NYCFC through on away goals in one of the great games in CONCACAF Champions League history. And a very telling reaction from the supporters to their beloved club.
Damas y caballeros, el marcador final del partido de esta noche de la Liga Campeones Concacaf Scotiabank es Comunicaciones Super Club 4.
Comunicaciones bounced from Champions League.
Super Club 2.
And as always telling after so many Champions League affairs, the exchange of jersey. Nungano and Sean Johnson, former members together of the Chicago Fire, share a moment. He couldn't get one by his old teammate, and that, in the end, is the difference. NYCFC advance 5-5 by way of away goals. To try and put this match into some semblance of verbal execution is almost impossible. NYCFC through Tati Castellanos. Second row goal, massive at the time. Lescano scores shortly before halftime for Comunicaciones. It felt like Tyler Magno scoring here would really put this game away. Comunicaciones would need 4 more goals. NYCFC usually so good in the back, it felt like an impossibility. But quickly, things turned. 4 subs for NYCFC, and Comunicaciones breathed new life into the game. First, it's Leonard Garcia in the 69th minute. Samioa. Leonard Garcia would get one in the 73rd. Very quietly, NYCFC was staring down what once was a 4-goal margin. 3 insurance goals. Looked up and realized it had more than halfway evaporated. Rolling all the way through, the finish by Garcia. And then Comunicaciones, the chef's kiss goal this night. Contreras lines it up from 35 yards. Drills it by Sean Johnson. 1 goal away from the most magnificent comeback. The last Central American team in Champions League. So very close, but 1 goal short. So for our entire team at home and abroad, we hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. Mike Watts saying so long from Guatemala City, where New York City advanced to the CONCACAF Champions League semifinal, where they'll face either Seattle or Club León. Until then, so long from Guatemala. NYCFC 5, Comunicaciones 5. The Pigeons to the Champions League semi on away goals.
como te digo.